Hello and welcome to the image module of the Information Integrity Training Program. This chapter focuses on image manipulation classification, from appropriate image use to fraudulent intent.
There is a long list of terms that indicate image manipulation, so one can easily be confused. This video aims at providing some orientation. Moreover, you will learn about some of the most predominant types of image manipulation and about how to draw a line between what can be considered appropriate or not. Whoever is concerned with images in the scholarly field has heard terms like copy move, splicing, stitching, or cloning, and cut and paste, and many more. Some of them clearly imply inappropriate operations, others may be considered legitimate depending on how they are applied and documented. Some techniques aim at altering the visible information in the image to make certain aspects better visible or to obscure disturbing elements like dirt and dust. Other types of manipulation refer to how the image is used or contextualized. Software like Photoshop, GIMP, or ImageJ allow for massive manipulations of images and facilitate beautifying images that can result in a more or less idealized version of reality. The term image manipulation is often used to indicate inappropriate manipulation, like in this definition retrieved from the Rational Wiki. For example, beautifying images, obscuring areas, and introducing elements, copying and pasting elements in images or across images, all this is often considered inappropriate manipulation. Most of us, even those who are not working in the natural sciences, are well aware of the many ways in which images can be altered and how images can be used to create entirely new worlds out of mere fantasy and far from reality. Every other Hollywood movie is a vivid demonstration of that fact. But speaking of image use in the academic world, what exactly do we consider inappropriate and where do researchers find guidance? Inappropriate image manipulation has many phases. Whenever a picture is altered, for example by removing dust, whenever brightness or contrasts are changed so that the information is lost, we speak of dodged out backgrounds for example, whenever an image is duplicated and reused without permission, such manipulations can be labeled inappropriate, whenever the interpretation of the information is affected. Even without any malicious intent, every photographic production carries a moment of manipulation. Many decisions about how the image is generated are made automatically by the camera's lenses and software. A standard image acquisition pipeline involves a number of subsequent steps: the breaking of light through the lenses, processes in the imaging sensor, and storing processes even before any post-processing steps are undertaken. Every decision on the side of the photographer about filters and exposure times can also have important effects on the resulting image. All this being said, inappropriate manipulations can occur even without bad intention. On the website of the Committee on Publication Ethics, you can find examples for how challenging decision-making processes on integrity cases can be where images are involved. There may be types of image manipulation that happen due to error or ignorance, or simply when things are mixed up, the order reversed, data not correctly labeled, and so on, which complicates decision making. It is not as easy as to say, well, image manipulations are inappropriate when they aim at deceiving the viewer. Making decisions about image integrity often involves individual authors, institutions like companies or universities, editors and publishing houses and others. And it is often the standard, rather than the exception, that such investigations take years before a decision is being made. The terminology derived for describing image manipulations mostly comes from retraction notices and partly from the literature. But now to the question of how image manipulation can be classified. A first group refers to all instances where the visual information is inappropriately manipulated or doctored. In everyday language, the term shopped or photoshopped images is used. In the scholarly realm, the term tampered images is frequently applied. These manipulations occur when elements in images are erased, copied or moved, or artifacts introduced, when images are inappropriately cropped, or where elements are cutted and pasted between images. Sometimes images are stitched together to imply they are a result of the same experiment, or certain features are cloned or covered up. In some academic fields, like in medicine or biology, enhancing or adjusting only part of an image is considered problematic, but changing contrast or brightness of the entire image is considered acceptable. When we look into the literature of signal processing and electronic engineering, where researchers develop algorithms for the automated detection of certain types of image manipulation, we find that basically three prominent types of image manipulations play a predominant role: cut-paste, erase-fill, and copy-move. Cut-paste refers to instances where image content is copied and pasted onto a different image. Copy-move to cases where image content is copied and pasted onto regions of the same image, which can be considered another category under the umbrella term splicing. Composite images are a different concept. There have been cases in photojournalism, for example, where various photographs of the same scene were used to compose a new image, which clearly violates standards of the photographic community. An additional category could be best described as context manipulation. Whenever images are used out of context, when they are intentionally or accidentally mislabeled, the information in the caption changed or incomplete, or the EXIF data altered, one may speak of inappropriate, sometimes even fraudulent image manipulation. The EXIF data is an abbreviation for Exchangeable Image File Format, which includes a set of tags with potentially valuable specifications about how, when, and where an image was captured. To avoid inappropriate image manipulation, many researchers recommend to document all image processing steps as detailed as possible in the caption. A fourth category refers to how images are used. Just like texts, images or part of images can be stolen, copied, and plagiarized. The same applies to authors using images from their own previous publications without proper citation. We call this self-plagiarism or recycling or image reuse. The term image duplication is applied when the same image is used more than once in the same publication. You may ask, why would one do that? One possible answer again is due to sloppiness or mistakes that occur when preparing a publication. But often images are used more than once to let research results look better and more profound than they actually are. This issue is further complicated by the different concepts of appropriate image manipulation across fields. What is acceptable for a biologist might not necessarily be acceptable for someone in physics, chemistry, or astronomy. This becomes apparent when looking at the multicolored NASA images we know from Hubble telescope. There we see a colorful and beautiful world, stars, nebulas, and galaxies, but not everybody may be aware of the fact that colors are just codes and not reflecting reality. Many viewers might assume these pictures reflect the colors that the telescope captured, while in fact those rather represent colors associated with the chemical elements represented in the image. Another example. Some think integrity is mainly a matter of good or bad intentions, even though that is certainly an oversimplification. A wildlife photographer might alter or even change the background of an image to enhance the animal's visibility. If the photographer fails to document these alterations in the caption, the manipulation may affect how other researchers, for example ecologists, understand and interpret the information in the image. Especially in wildlife photography, there are many tricks that are used to get a good photo. Insects are frozen or glued, or trained animals are used to get brilliant pictures. In the end, of course, often the purpose determines whether a manipulation is to be considered appropriate or not. However, we often do have to deal with gray areas. There's no doubt about NASA having to follow the general rules of science, suggesting that any form of manipulation should be documented as transparently as possible. This also applies to the front pages of scientific journals, for which different rules are deployed than for images in the articles. We refer to such images as cover art, and they do simulate fascinating visual worlds springing more from fantasy than reality. That's not meant to be a criticism of artistic expression, but it must be ensured that images do not mislead the viewer. Because determining the line between appropriate and inappropriate can be challenging, there have been voices who claim that any form of cleaning up or beautifying an image should be avoided, to safeguard the integrity of images. So what forms of image manipulation have to be considered inappropriate? Certainly all forms of manipulation that are intentional with the aim to deceive the viewer, where images are fabricated where data is made up to simulate results and so on, like for example in the infamous WAN case. Image manipulation is to be considered inappropriate when it aims at making the data appear better than it is, when images are enhanced or beautified and cleaned up, to let the results appear in a way that affects the data and the interpretation of the data. Inappropriate image manipulation is when data is used without permission, when images are just retrieved from the internet or from other publications and used without the author's consent, or when the image is used out of context, in the sense that the image is stolen or plagiarized and reused. And of course when images are used more than once in the same publication as mentioned above to make the research appear better. Or of course when the metadata of the image is changed or erased or manipulated in some way. This list is not comprehensive of course, but it gives you a sense of what ways are leading to inappropriate image manipulation. And on the other hand, appropriate image manipulation is of course when there is no intention to deceive the viewer, when image manipulation is executed according to standards and guidelines, when there is no intention to make the image look better than what was actually captured, when post-processing steps are documented well, and when the manipulation is applied over the entire image and not only to parts of the image. Certainly, the gray area between appropriate and inappropriate image manipulation exists. That can happen when researchers are not familiar with the principles of good scientific practice, when authors are not aware of image standards, at least at the time when the image was captured, when authors think they have the liberty to ignore existing rules and go their own ways, or when they are simply not familiar with the concept of plagiarism or self-plagiarism, and things get mixed up, when there are problems with data management, and so on. All this can lead to cases where we have gray zones and it's harder to make a judgment about whether the manipulation is appropriate or not. It is impossible to keep people from committing fraud if they deliberately choose to go down that path. It's important though to develop skills and instruments to identify unreliable data and manipulated images. Stay tuned and watch our next video coming up in this series called The Properties of a Digital Image. There we are going to develop a more thorough understanding of what information can be extracted from an image and how it can be used in a forensic analysis. Thank you for watching this video and see you soon on this channel.